Hope comes in the morning. Lamentations chapter 3, verses 16 through 24. To be in a place where it seems like you go through trouble all the time, and it seems as though trouble is not going to come to an end. Miss Dorothy, Miss Odell, Jimmy, it's something when it seems like when you get into something and you pray about it and you feel as though I'll be out of it in a little while. Because we know that trouble don't last always. All right. And look, with us knowing this, we're all right initially. Initially, we're fine in the beginning. But what happens when you thought it was only going to last for a day? When you thought the trouble was only going to last for a week? Now it's been a year, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years. Lord, tell me, how long will trouble last? Some try to give this the book Lamentations to other people for our time to share, and the moment that God is going to bless here with us. We're going to give this to Jeremiah, who I strongly feel that it is Jeremiah who wrote this. Jeremiah was in this period when this judgment had been passed down. This judgment had been passed down on Judah because they had went off and started worshiping idols. God told them to get it together. Jeremiah was preaching that they need to get it together. They did not heed the word of Jeremiah. When they did not heed the word of Jeremiah, now look at what has happened. God is sending a worse nation, a nation that does not even worship God, does not even believe in him. The Babylonians are going to come in and invade Judah. They are going to take them captive. They are going to destroy Judah, destroy the temple, and carry them off. And with this happening, now Jeremiah speaks. Look, Prophet Chris, this is so amazing because it's almost like in it, Jeremiah was almost about to lose hope. Tell me how long. See, look, Allison, Miss Melville, look, sometimes it will seem as though trouble is never going to come to an end. But just like the subject says, hope comes in the morning. The thing is we don't know what morning it's coming. We don't know what morning it is. Look, Erica, we hope that it's the next morning. But God had sent the word through Jeremiah that it is going to end up being 70 years. So Dorothy, what are we to do? Edwin, how do we Reggie, how do we handle this thing when we say that we should be coming out of it? We've prayed, God, we've come and we've confessed, and now, but it seems like the end is getting further away for us to get out of what we are in. What does Jeremiah has to say? Jeremiah has gotten to the point. Look at verse 16 of Lamentations chapter 3. It says he that he is talking about is the Lord. Now, he's not talking about the Babylonians. He's not talking about the devil. He's not, look, he's not blaming it on any of those. Look, Reverend Sellers, look, Alicia, he's not blaming it on any of them. Look, this is what got me, Elaine, when I was studying this thing last week. It says, he hath also broken my teeth with gravel stones. He hath covered me with ashes. The he that he's talking about is the Lord. And it's almost like, if we put it, Cousin Betty, in a way, it's like Jeremiah got on his knees to pray. To say, come on, Jesus, and see about me, because I'm down here, Lord, and I need your power. And God answers nothing. It got so bad that Jeremiah said that my teeth are broken. One of the writers said that it almost, Renee, visualizes someone with a bloody mouth who had been in battle and came out on the losing end. And their teeth were all broken in their mouth. What do you do when the teeth are broken in your mouth? But see, you've been talking to God. God. You've been talking to God. But it seems like the more you pray, the worse the situation got. He hath also broken my teeth with gravel stones. It's almost like the prayer is not even reaching the roof. So it's almost like I'm almost ready to throw in the towel, because what's the use? You could tell he was almost at the end, because in the last part of verse 16, he said, he hath covered me with ashes. Look, Miss Maggie, when he got to this point, look, Pat, when he got to this point, to be covered with ashes, meaning that it was all over. It was all but done for me. He said, he hath also. So look, and we don't have time to get back into the verses before, but he's going to talk about the other stuff. And this is how we know, if we read verse 1, we know that he is talking about the Lord, because he starts the chapter out. I am the man that hath seen affliction by the rod, all right, of his wrath. The rod of whose wrath? The rod of the Lord's wrath. So don't fool yourself. He's talking about he said the Lord has pulled his hand back and allowed destruction to come my way. How long will trouble last? Verse 17, and thou hast removed my soul far off from peace. I forget prosperity. Listen at what he is saying. And thou hast removed my soul far off from. He said, look, I have not been able to find peace for so long. I can't even remember what peace feels like. See, some people are really this way. That when God gets ready to turn the tide, all right, God is turning the tide now, but in God turning the tide, they have received so much trauma from it. Lord have mercy. That when God gets ready to turn the tide, Myra, Tawanda, look, he's getting ready to say, all right, night is over, day is coming. But when a person has experienced so much darkness for so long, when light comes, it makes them nervous. It's almost like they're afraid. They're afraid to even tell anybody that things are starting to look up, that things are starting to get better. The prophet said he had no peace in his soul. That means sleep had probably left him. Janet, I'm talking about, can't you see him 2, 3 o'clock in the morning just rolling around, just looking at the ceiling, just pacing the floor? Peace has left him. He says, I forget prosperity. He says, I haven't been happy in so long, I don't even know what it feels like to be happy. Lord, tell me how long. I'm trying to paint the picture so that you could see where Jeremiah was at. If you go back into Jeremiah and like around chapter 20, around verses 7, 8, and 9, and I think that's that around that verse 8 and 9, that's where we get when Jeremiah said that I'm going to stop talking about him. But he said, I tried to stop, and when I tried to stop, it was just like fire shut up in my bones. Jeremiah was in stocks. He was bound. He was in prison because he was doing what the Lord called him to do. And he's crying out, he's lamenting to God. How long will this last? Look, Jamie Tyler, look, sometimes when trouble comes everywhere, it's coming from everywhere. And then sometimes it seems like it's never going to end. Jeremiah says, this thing's been going on for so long, I don't even know what happiness feels like. I'm talking about to be at a place to where you don't even know how to feel happy. You don't remember the last time you were happy. And Vicky, we're praying for you, my sister. For Jeremiah to be going through this. And look, it is okay when we go through stuff to lament to God, to cry out to God. God, my heart is broken over what has happened. My heart is broken over what I see. My heart is broken for what they've done to me. My heart is broken. Look, he was lamenting to God. One thing, Lord, that we can give him credit for is that he didn't do like what sometimes people do now and just try and hold it all in. But he tried to get this thing out. And look, and Miss Grace, in that, I mean, because when we do that, we expose the very thing that is on the inside of us that we are trying to hide. Deacon Wilson, Miss Pearline, look, there's more room on the outside than there is on the inside. And sometimes people try to hold all this stuff on the inside and it doesn't work. Now, don't get me wrong. Look, that there needs to be some type of discipline in the way that we get it out. See, because some people use violence to get it out. Some people use alcohol to get it out. Some people use drugs to get it out. Some people use all kind of lashing out, all of this kind of stuff. They use all types of, but we need to be disciplined in the way that we get it out. That and Prophet Chris, that's it. Look, if we expect to be delivered from it, we've got to expose that thing. We can't have this thing like it is owning us. And so, Philip, Minister Tick, look, we have got to get this thing out. But we have to be disciplined in the way that we get it out. See, some people have no boundaries and they just blurt stuff out and they just blah, 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 or they just go off on people and all. See, that's why anytime when I see a troubled child, I say it's coming from somewhere. It's coming from a place of hurt, a place of pain. And that is a way that they see to get it out. May not be the right way. That's why we have to try and find the right way, a disciplined way of getting it out. And Jeremiah was able to lament right to God about it to get it out. And look, some of us can go right to God and just pour our little hearts out to God. And after we do it, we all right. Look, some people have to talk to another person. Look, there's not a one all for all. You have to find the best way. You have to seek God on how you should get that thing out of you that is trying to destroy you from the inside out. Verse 18, Lamentations chapter 3. This is what I like about Jeremiah. And I said, look, Reverend Wilson, this is what blessed me about Jeremiah. Connie, this is what blessed me. Jeremiah didn't stay silent. He didn't suffer in silence. Jeremiah said, and I said, my strength and my hope is perished from the Lord. He says, gone is my glory. Lady Newton, look, Angie, Brother Chapman, Sister Carolyn, look. The New Revised says it like this. So I say, gone is my glory and all that I had hoped from the Lord. He is almost at the end of it. It's like Jeremiah was saying, if he were going to show up, he would have showed up by now. He says, now it's like I don't even feel the glory of the Lord. I don't even feel the presence of the Lord like I used to feel at one time. And look, and he said, with this, he said, I need some help. I need some assistance. If I am going to be able to make it and not give up on this. He says, my strength. Because my. See, after you're in a battle for so long, you will begin to become weak. Pastor Connors, especially when we see an exit. We're close to the exit. But then it seems like the closer we get to the exit, it seems like the goalpost is being moved further. It seems like I thought I was almost there at the door coming out of this situation. But now it seems like the door has moved further away. Jeremiah says, my strength, the strength that I had, Lord have mercy. Look, Lorena, look, he said, look, my strength, it's almost gone. He said, I got to have some help. He said, not only my strength, but my hope, my faith of being delivered, it's almost gone. It's almost gone. And Jeremiah has to help us because God always has a way. And look, Miss Minnie, look, and this is something else that we say, this colloquialism that we say in the church, that God won't put more on you than what you can bear. I beg to differ. Yes, he will. He will put more on you than you can bear so that you will depend on him and stop trying to do it on your own. Yes, God will put more on you than you can bear. I used to say the same thing, but life has taught me he will put more on you than you are able to bear. And if you got to look to the Lord and say, Lord, if you don't take this, there ain't no way I'm going to make it. I can't do it. Not by myself. I cannot do it. So look, when his strength and now his hope is almost gone. Look, when your hope is almost gone, that's your faith. That's what you believe. That's what you trust. You look to God. I look to you. I look to you. Woo. And when it seems that all hope is gone, my God, he said, it's perished from the Lord. He said, and look, he is not blaming the Lord for any of this. He knows why it's happening. He knows that the people did not listen to the word that he preached. And Pastor McPhail, even though they wouldn't listen, Jeremiah was not was not able to be a scapegoat and get away, when Babylon came in and swept them away, guess what? Jeremiah got swept away also, and he was the spokesperson doing what God said. Sometimes bad stuff happens to good people. It just happens. Jeremiah in the will of God, and the people wouldn't listen, telling Jeremiah he needed to go somewhere and sit down, and even the enemies coming in and taking Jeremiah away. It's like Jeremiah was at a loss. What do I do, Lord? My strength is gone now. My hope is almost gone. Verse 19 of Lamentations 3. Classmate Misha, God bless you. Good morning. Look, he says, remembering. Whew, I had to stop right there. I said, I believe Jeremiah is on a rebound. But first, let's see what he's remembering. That means that the situation did not take his mind. Remembering mine affliction and mine misery, the wormwood and the gall. So look, it's still bad. Because when you get at talking about the wormwood, that wormwood plant, it's good for nothing. It's just like the gall. It's bitter. It's not good to the taste. Anything like that. It's good for nothing. Jeremiah says, when I remember my affliction and my misery. See, I told you this didn't just start last night for Jeremiah. This thing had been going on for a while now. And Jeremiah, see, look, we need to be able to remember what God has brought us through and what he is bringing us through. Because no matter what you may be going through right now, baby, keep that thing in that memory bank, because there's going to be a day when God's going to bring you out and you're going to look back on it and you're going to say, I thought all hope was lost. But because I held on and I didn't let go. I didn't see the end. I didn't see how deliverance was coming. I could not see it, but I just knew in my knower that some way, somehow, God is going to work this thing out. He said, I remembered my affliction. And so many times we don't want to remember our afflictions. We want to be able to forget about it. And some stuff that has happened in our past, I used to say, I wish we did have the ability to just completely erase it from our minds. But God does not give us that ability. And that's why some people, Minister Nigel, have problems when it comes to forgiving people for things that they have done to them in the past. But God does not give us that ability to erase it. And you can forgive a person and not forget what they have done. Just because you remember what they've done, that does not necessarily mean you have not forgiven that person. Sister Francis, what forgiveness is when you forgive that person and you remember what they did to you, but it doesn't move you in the same way that it used to. Because you're moving on. Because you're moving on. And look, in this life, look, there are going to be pains. There are going to be hurts. We are going to have to go through these things. And we're going to have to do just like Jeremiah. And we're going to have to lament to God or to somebody. God, my heart is broken over this thing that has happened. There go my man, Aaron. Hey, look, and Aaron, look, there's not a whole lot that we can do about it. Look, Lasagna, look, it's there. We don't have the ability to erase it. But what I can do is forgive you as a person. Doesn't mean I have to hang around you. I don't have to be all around your neck, dapping you up and all this kind. I don't have to do that in order to show that I have forgiven you. Because forgiveness is for me, baby. It ain't so much for you. That thing is for me. Yeah. So somebody said the definitions of unforgiveness is like drinking poison and waiting to see the other person die. Don't work that way. Look, forgiveness is for us. And if we withhold unforgiveness from somebody else, thank you. That person has control of our actions. Let me show you how. You can see a car like theirs, and it'll move you in a certain way. A certain perfume, a certain cologne that they wore. Oh, I'm coming down your street today. and it moves you in that same way. Someone that says some of the same sayings that they used to say. When you have not forgiven them, it moves you in a certain way. See them somewhere and breaking your neck trying to go around so that you don't have to confront them, trying to avoid the confrontation. Yeah, but see, when you forgive them, that joker did that right there to me. But hey, I ain't where I used to be. I'm stronger now. Look, God was able to help me, that I was able to release that thing from me. Hey, deuces, bruh. Deuces, sis. Keep right on going. But that thing should not have control of us. And look, Joanne, look, that thing can be bitter. Look, he says, I remembered mine affliction. And see, gall, when I did, when I was looking at that, what in the world is wormwood and gall? And they said that plant, it's just so bitter. And it's really seems to be good for nothing. That very thing, Jeremiah said, I remembered it. I remembered how they messed over me. I remember what they did. Lady Newton, I remembered it. But because God was good and gracious to me, he gave me the strength and the mercy to be able to release that thing, to forgive them. And now that thing don't hold me hostage. I'll let nobody have control over me. I won't let them hold the joystick of my life, controlling. Because some people know that they are controlling you if you have not forgiven them. And all they have to do is say one thing to set you off, send you to the moon just like that. Don't let them do it. Ask God to help you. Show you how to be released from that thing. And I'm going to tell you, sticking your head in the ground like an ostrich and the rest of your body showing, that ain't being delivered from it. Trying to act like it ain't there. Look, you got to face that baby. You can't, ain't no need of trying to hide. You got to confront that thing. Say, Lord, it is me, not my mother, not my father, not my sister, not my brother, but it's me, oh Lord. And I'm on the operating table and I need you to help me because I got to be released from this thing. Is overtaking me so much. It's affecting my health. It's affecting my attitude. It's affecting my psychological way of thinking. Sometimes I feel like I'm going crazy. Look, you just need to get on the table. You ain't the Lone Ranger. You ain't by yourself. All of us have been there. You just have to come to God and ask God to do the work. God, this is how it makes me feel. And look, you need to be honest with God. Look, tell God, this the messed up thing about it. They messed me over like that. But if they would come right, I'd go right back to them. Look, y'all ain't fooling me. See, I've been out there in the streets. Look, it is what it is. Look, Apostle Anderson, look, that's just the way it is. Stephanie, that's just how it is. And look, when we go to God, truthfully and transparent, then we allow God to begin to work on our hearts so that we can be released from that thing. See, some people say, I don't know how they can keep going back to it. I do. They ain't been delivered from it yet. Lord have mercy. I knew it. That's why I played the song that I played. Lord, tell me how long will trouble last. Sometimes it seems like there's no end in sight. But you just got to keep reading. You just got to keep holding on. My. Verse 20 of Lamentations chapter 3. My soul, look, I'm going to tell you, the deacon knows. I'm going to tell y'all. I was thinking about this boy when I was walking. I said, God, I just love you. I love you. I thank God for when he saved us. He does not take our characters away. He does not take our, the humor that we have about ourselves. I'm glad he don't take all that stuff away. Look, Sophia, he don't make us all dull and bored. Look, we still got that same laughter and joking and all that kind of stuff. And like the old church would say, look, we just change partners. That's all. Lamentations 3:20. My soul hath them still in remembrance and is humbled in me. Wait a minute. My soul continually thinks of it and is bowed down within me. Look, this is why we're looking for the exit. This is why we're looking to get through the door. Because sometimes that thing gets on our minds and we can't think about nothing else. And Jeremiah said, Lord, this thing has got me bowed down continually. I'm thinking about this thing. I can't even lift my head up to look to the hills from which cometh my help, nor that all my help cometh from the Lord. But if I can't look to the hills because this thing has me bowed down continually. How long, Lord? How long? Oh, I feel y'all this morning. How long will trouble last? My soul continually thinks of it. Oh yeah. Hey, Kason, look, me and you, Vince, look, we gonna blow the whistle on them. Andre, look, we gonna blow the whistle on them. They tell us they ain't thinking about it. They say, I don't forgot about that stuff. But until you are, look, we don't have that ability to completely forget about it. But when God has stepped in and allowed forgiveness and we have allowed forgiveness to have that work in us, then when we remember it, it doesn't hit us the same. We don't react the same. We ain't cussing, fussing, wanting to fight, and all this other kind of, we're not doing all that because there's been a change on the inside. But we got to be honest with God. God, look, this thing is on me. I can't hardly think about nothing else but this. Lord, I can't even hardly function on the job. Lord, sometimes I get in a conversation and can't even hardly complete a sentence because that thing right there keep popping back up to me. God, I need your help. Go to God. He already knows, but God's a gentleman. He wants us to come to him and be completely transparent. Lord, it's me. And Lord, I need you. I know I'm trying to fake it till I make it in front of my friends, in front of my family, and all this kind of stuff. But God, Lord, I need you. I need you to help me with this. Look, this one right here, it's going to take me and you, God. This won't like that over. I mean, it took me a little while, but I got over it. But this one right here, this thing right here is getting me. Lord, me and you, God, you got to help me with this one. God bless you, Sister Sellers. I'm telling you, this is, and look, all of us need a mirror in front of us because this is something that all of us have went through, are going through now, or will go through. Verse 21, Lamentations 3. This I recall to my mind, therefore have I hope. Wait, so there is a benefit in remembering. So me sticking my head in the sand, acting like it didn't happen, is not fixing the situation. So now hope is coming back because I remember. To make it, this is something else. Because sometimes we want to forget it. Look, LaVon, look, cuz, good seeing you yesterday, man. You looking good, cuz. He says, this I recall to my mind. He says, I recall it to my mind. He says, therefore have I hope. You know what I think one of the benefits of it is when we first started out on this journey to recovery of whatever it is, whatever the problem is, um, we remembered the excitement that we had, the vigor that we had, that God was going to bless us, that God was going to help us. And in remembering, it's like some of that strength just comes back. But for God's sake, just don't act like it's not there. I mean, it's there, but then we need to put a comma. That's a place of rest, and say, but God. And then that gives room for something to happen. But this I call to mind, and therefore I have hope. See, when you've got hope, you can make it. See, he said, look, Jeremiah said, I was almost about to quit. This thing was messing with my mind. I was almost going crazy. Look, if you really read in Jeremiah, I'm going to tell you what Jeremiah really saying. Jeremiah says, I had fallen into depression. He said, this thing had depressed me. I mean, to the point to where I said I won't gonna call his name no more. I won't talking to nobody else no more, because God, you told me to do it, and when you told me to do it, they wouldn't listen. Then the Babylonians came in. They took us captive. I'm in a strange land. I don't know how this thing is gonna work out. And Lord, this thing has almost just got me depressed. I'm talking about look, Gail, he said, I'm in a depressed state because of it. But some time alone and talking to God. Do you see what happens when the dialogue is left open? The conversation. See, don't shut heaven off and don't stop talking to God. See, you shouldn't stop coming to your church. Just because they did you wrong at the church, don't stop coming to church. See, that's what the devil, the devil says, if all I got to do is get on somebody's shoulder and in a weak moment, make them do something to you, and that's going to stop you from coming to church. And then I can isolate you, because anytime you watch any of the Wild Kingdom, any of that stuff, if you see one that's looking for a prey and there's a whole group of them, he's looking for the weak one. And when he gets them to running, the one that backs off, he knows that's the weak one. So he's isolated that one and got him by himself, because he know he can't get him with everybody else around. So what the enemy tries to do is the same thing. That's why the Bible tells us that the devil is like a roaring lion. See, he's trying to get that prey. He's trying to get you away from the group. And so if all he has to do is get on somebody's shoulder and let them have a bad day coming into church and say something to you, and y'all just get into it, and you giving them they smoke, they giving you they smoke and all this, and then you say, well, I just ain't coming back to that church because I don't like the way they did me and all this kind of stuff like this. See, then the devil has isolated you. And now he really gonna rip into you and tear into you. Don't do that. Just because they made you mad, they gonna have to look. They gonna have to remember, because I'm gonna be sitting right back up in there next Sunday, because I'm gonna get what God has got for me. And look, don't get me wrong. Look, we are getting the word right now, but there is something corporately that God just has set up. There are blessings that I have received that I would not have received except I was in the house. And those are the only way. God did not create this thing called church, synagogue, this building for Christians to gather together. We draw strength from one another. There is something that you get there that you can't get alone. I'm sorry. Now, I can do the best I can right here, and you in your living room, kitchen, bedroom, whatever, getting ready for church, whatever you doing. Yeah. But there's something that I'm going to get this morning when I gather with the believers. Glenda, good to see you yesterday. There is just something that you're going to get from gathering with the believers. Scotty, I can't explain it, but that's just the way God has it set up. So he says, I recall in my mind, therefore I have hope. You can't stop coming. Look, you can't cut that lifeline off. You never know. You're going to bump into somebody with a word, and it may not even be the preacher. You might bump into somebody in the vestibule going in, and a smile. See, and this is another reason. Thank you, Holy Spirit. Some people when people look at gifts, Sometimes we look at gifts as just preaching, teaching. Some people just got a gift of singing and ministering to people. But there is a gift of hospitality that blesses and delivers people. That gift of hospitality is in people to the point that they see that you're not having a good morning. But there is something that God has on the inside, and in that gifting, just through communication, is helping your deliverance to get that much closer. But you can't get it if you don't come. Don't let the devil get you that easy. Just because somebody wronged you and all that kind of, look, it could have been the preacher, it could have been the deacon, the trustee, could have been, someone, your pew member, it don't matter. Don't stop coming. God's got a blessing for you when you do. All right, verse 22. And this is the verse that's always quoted, the most quoted in Lamentations. It is of the Lord's mercies that we are not consumed, because his compassions fail not. Let me tell you something. You can say that you are not going to do something to help someone. But if compassion is on the inside of you, compassion will drive you to do it. You can be tired, but if you are a compassionate person on the inside, compassion will give you strength to go out and help them get it done. It is the compassion. So he says, it is of the Lord's mercy. It is what God is so merciful. Look, listen at Jeremiah now. Look, all of this stuff that has happened, he's been afflicted. He's almost about to throw in the towel. But then when he remembered, and now, Lord have mercy, he has hope. And now that he has hope, he sees that the Lord's mercies, it is only by his mercy, by him not giving me what I deserved. That's why I'm not consumed. That's why I'm not destroyed. That's why it didn't take you out, because of the Lord's mercy. And I know sometimes we use it and we just use it carelessly. Lord, have mercy. We got to know what we're saying when we say that. That is a powerful statement for the Lord to have mercy, because none of us are perfect. None of us are going to live a perfect life. We are going to make mistakes. We are going to make people angry because we think this is right. They think that's right. And then we bump head. But it is only by the Lord's mercy that we are not consumed. To be consumed is to be destroyed, to be killed, to be put away. It is only by the Lord's mercy that does not happen. Thank God for his mercy. I'm like you, Sophia. Thank you. Lord, I thank you so much for your mercy. If it was not for the Lord's mercy, we would just be consumed. Yeah, in the Old Testament, the Lord got mad with the children of Israel. He was going to kill every single one of them until the preacher prayed. I believe it was Moses that prayed. It was one of them. When they prayed, he said, Lord, don't do that. He said, Lord, if you do that, they're going to say that you were a God that couldn't get your people into the promised land like you said. Lord, don't do that. And so the Lord, I think he said the Lord repented himself. The Lord had mercy. His compassions. The Lord's compassion won't fail. Let me tell you what that means. That means that a person can have compassion, but then they can just have compassion for a certain person, for certain people, but not for others. For the one that did them wrong, and even though they forgave them, but then it's hard for them to have compassion towards them, because the last time they were close to them and they opened themselves up to them, it got them in that place to where they had to go to God, and that person wronged them in such a way that it hurt them to the heart. The Lord's compassion never fails. God is always compassionate towards us. How can you say that? Verse 23, they are new every morning. Great is thy faithfulness. His mercies, his compassion, they don't fail. They're new. Look, we got new mercies. When we woke up this morning, we woke up to new mercies. Yesterday done. You can't go back and get it. Yesterday is it. That's done. But guess what? Because his compassions fail not, we woke up to new mercies. And God is compassionate to us. He's going to be compassionate to us today. Great is his faithfulness. God is faithful to what he said. And that's what Jeremiah knew. God, you said after 70 years you were going to bring us out. So I just some way, somehow got to hold on until that time comes. I got to hold on. He's faithful. And whatever God is faithful in whatever he does. Verse 24, the Lord is my portion. My portion. The Lord is my portion, saith my soul. This ain't lip service. I done been through some stuff with God, and I know how me and God roll. And when it get tough, I know that the Lord is going to be. My soul knows that. My inner man knows that. Therefore, will I hope in him. I'm not hoping in other people. I'm not hoping in government. I'm not hoping in the preacher. I ain't hoping in the deacon. I can hear my grandma Mary be singing that song in Sunday school. My hope is built on nothing less than Jesus' blood and righteousness. I dare not trust the sweetest rain, but wholly lean on Jesus' name. On Christ, the solid rock I stand. All of the ground is sinking sand. When darkness fell, I'm going to leave y'all alone, but I hear that next verse coming. His lovely face. Whoo, may I be found. Look, the Lord is your portion. Your soul knows. Your soul knows. Broderick, when you've been through some stuff with him, your soul just knows. That's Lady Newt, that's what I'll say. Hallelujah. Thank you, Jesus, that your mercies don't fail. Because we are in need of them. God, we thank you for being so faithful to us. Even, this is the blessing, this is the shouting part, when we have not been faithful to you. But you have been faithful to us. So we thank God. We thank God. God bless you, Miss Willie Mae. Like y'all had a good time at y'all vacation Bible school yesterday. God bless you. So look, come to God. I'm talking about come to him, and I'm talking about be honest, open, transparent with him. Your hope is coming in the morning. I don't know which morning it's going to be, but hope is coming in the morning. Don't quit. Don't give up. Don't throw in the towel. You hold on. Your soul know. When you say something telling me to just hold on, don't give up, that's your soul, because it knows that God's going to come see about me. It might not be in my time because his ways are not my ways. My thoughts are not his thoughts. They are higher. To God be the glory for all the wonderful things that he has done.